This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 18th day of September in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. President Irfan Ali has once again made a call to the international community to get serious about ending hunger, poverty, and other challenges facing the world by keeping financial commitments made. The president was at the time delivering remarks at the high-level political forum on sustainable development hosted by the UN headquarters. Global leaders are meeting ahead of the UN General Assembly on the Sustainable Development Goals, which were approved back in 2015 by the members of the United Nations as a roadmap to tackle the world's most troubling problems by the year 2030. The 17 goals and their accompanying 169 targets range from halting deforestation to raising living standards, reducing child mortality, and promoting global peace. The cost of their enactment has been estimated at more than $3 trillion a year.
Guyana believes that significant progress can only be made in achieving the SDG if national efforts are matched by commitments being fulfilled, and if an international environment is created that fosters progress for all countries.
Additionally, President Ali said the financial commitments, whether those made 5 decades ago or the $100 billion annually under the Paris Agreement to developing countries, among others, have not been met. He noted that the international financial architecture is out of sync with the needs of developing countries and must therefore be reformed.
Developing countries are faced with higher food inflation, 5% higher than the rest of the world in most cases. To compound this, for developing countries, the average interest on external borrowing is 3 times higher than that of developed countries.
The president said international organizations must keep their commitments, and everyone everywhere will enjoy the full human rights, peace, and security, and will be free from poverty and hunger. The president will address the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say, but now that it's here, it will change life forever, and it is here to stay. The future is now, transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord. I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look, the makeup.
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Having your own car means peace of mind.
Having your own car means comfort and convenience.
Having your own car means freedom to get there on your own time.
It's Deal on Wheels at Republic Bank. It's time to get that new vehicle or upgrade to a better one with Republic. Super low rates and low down payment. Up to 8 years to repay and great prizes. Come in to Republic Bank today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New
India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 2260-415-7. Comfortable parking available.
Opposition parties, the APNU and the AFC, are demanding that the oil and gas government portfolio be taken away from Vice President Bharat Jagdeo after the petroleum unit at the Ministry of Natural Resources slashed the $214 million in questionable expenses incurred by the Exxon company to $3 million. An international audit company and the Guyana Revenue Authority both flagged the $214 million on the basis that it lacked key documents to support the claims. But the petroleum unit at the Ministry of Natural Resources subsequently broke that cost down to $3 million. That meant that only $3 million was being disputed. Last week, while expressing disappointment in the actions of the Natural Resources Ministry, the Vice President said the Natural Resources Ministry had no business engaging Exxon on the matter when the GRA had already submitted its report. The APNU said the fiasco has exposed the ineptitude of both the Vice President and the Minister of Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat. The APNU in a statement said any responsible person with common sense would, on receipt of a report on the slashing of ExxonMobil questionable expenses from $214 million to $3 million, seek further information or clarification on the matter. The party said not the Vice President, since he informed the nation that he accepted the report at face value and had no concerns and sought no explanations. The APNU said that is negligence and a malfeasance of the highest order. The party said such negligence could lead to the loss of billions of dollars of public funds. Should a disputed amount be removed from the cost bank, it would have to be redirected to profit oil and therefore be split 50-50 between government and the oil giant. The leader of the Alliance for Change, Cameron Ramjatan, said to deny Guyanese their fair share of the oil revenues would be criminal.
To deny ourselves that is shameless. As a matter of fact, it's got to be a rogue government that is doing that. Because $107 million can go a far way in helping the sugar workers, in helping public servants with increases.
Joining the APNU in its demands, the AFC leader said the Vice President should be sent packing.
It is sad, very, very sad. And we are denying ourselves a lot of money. It is almost criminal.
The cost recovery report covers pre-contract exploration and development costs for the period 1999 to 2017 by the ExxonMobil subsidiary. The company has submitted a claim of $1.67 billion. A team of U.S. congressional members who met last week with President Irfaan Ali is preparing to meet with Guyana's opposition as they try to understand many of the issues facing Guyana. In a statement, U.S. Congress Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said that during the group's meeting with the President of Guyana and the team, they discussed several critical issues, including regional and energy security, the climate crisis, and the importance of an inclusive society in Guyana, which should involve full economic participation and civic engagement by Guyanese Africans and Guyanese Indians. Mr. Jeffries added that they also discussed electoral reform, strengthening democratic institutions, and the need to bolster access to banking and financial services in the Caribbean region. According to the U.S. Congressman, in the next few weeks, a delegation of House members will meet with leaders of the Guyanese opposition party to continue the dialogue about the opportunities and challenges confronting Guyana and other nations within the African diaspora in the Western Hemisphere. Jeffries, who is the highest-ranking Democrat in the U.S. Congress, said the congressional team continues to encourage the government and the opposition in Guyana to work together to ensure that all Guyanese citizens, regardless of race or ethnicity, benefit from the economic growth underway in the country. President Ali spent 3 days in Washington last week, meeting with a number of top U.S. government and U.S. Congress officials. The U.S. has been paying keen interest in Guyana and has also been paying attention to complaints of discrimination and the lack of inclusivity in the country's governance. There continues to be calls for the government and the opposition to meet on major decisions facing the country.
To tell you about my mom and how I lost her, it was a very hard reality for me.
I met Crystal through a friend who asked me to speak to her. The first time I saw her, my spirit just took a liking to her. I see Crystal as my daughter. I haven't given birth to Crystal, but I feel as if I do.
I felt alone. I got the support I needed from her.
I understand that Crystal was a lesbian. I choose to accept and embrace and love everybody. I'm a Christian and I believe we are all God's children. God loves everyone. It's about time we all get educated enough to know that, you know what, everybody is just the same human.
She never questioned it. She just supported me right through it.
So I see her as a young woman full of potential. Crystal and every gay and lesbian person should be treated with respect in Guyana.
Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
592 Events and Entertainment in partnership with Republic Bank and Caribbean Airlines present Welcome Home, Pan, Brass, and Soca. The kickstart to the Cricket Carnival weekend. On Thursday, September 21, the Kingston Beach comes alive with electrifying performances by Kunjaz Steel Ensemble, Pan Groove Steel Band, the Guyana Police Force Steel Band, Guyana Defense Force Steel Band, and the Parkside Steel Orchestra. Grab your early bird tickets for $2,000 or stagefront tickets for $5,000. Showtime 5:30 p.m. Don't miss Welcome Home, Pan, Brass, and Soca on the Kingston Beach. Brought to you by Republic Bank, Caribbean Airlines, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, and Cricket Carnival.
Having your own car means peace of mind.
Having your own car means comfort and convenience.
Having your own car means freedom to get there on your own time.
It's Deal on Wheels at Republic Bank. It's time to get that new vehicle or upgrade to a better one with Republic. Super low rates and low down payment. Up to 8 years to repay and great prizes. Come in to Republic Bank today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The Caribbean Financial Action Task Force has concluded its on-site visit and assessment of Guyana's anti-money laundering regime and sees the need for a unified approach in tackling money laundering by the various law enforcement agencies in Guyana. In a statement, the Attorney General's office indicated that the team noted that Guyana was investigating money laundering and associated serious offense cases in line with the country's risk assessment. But the delay in the administration of cases may have contributed to the current low conviction rate for money laundering. The CFATF evaluation team also said it found a number of shortcomings, including the need for attorneys and accountants to fully understand their anti-money laundering obligations. It also flagged the country's low conviction rate of suspected money launderers. The CFATF team found that there was a need for increased resources for the Ministry of Home Affairs to effectively carry out its functions. But the Attorney General said despite the shortcomings, Guyana has demonstrated the ability to use formal and informal mechanisms for international cooperation, particularly through its regional mechanisms, such as the Regional Security System. Guyana was told that there is a possibility that the findings could be changed upon further review of information submitted. However, no measures after the 15th of September will be considered. A number of government ministries, law enforcement agencies, state agencies, financial institutions, as well as private sector and professional organizations were engaged in the assessment. The official findings will be presented at the CFATF plenary session in mid-2024 in Trinidad and Tobago. The Attorney General said from all indications, Guyana as a jurisdiction acquitted itself favorably and received much praise during the assessment. The father of the 5-year-old boy who was among 20 children killed in the Mahdia school dorm fire last May broke down in tears as he recalled pulling his 10-year-old daughter from the burning building but not being able to save his son. He took the stand at the Commission of Inquiry last Friday. Steve Jerome was the house father for the Mahdia Secondary School male dormitory when the fire broke out at the female dorm a short distance away, where both of his children were residing with their mother, the female dorm house supervisor. On Friday, as he took the stand before the 3-member commission, he chronicled the terrifying events that unfolded on the night of the 21st of May in Mahdia. Jerome said after many attempts he managed to rescue his daughter, but was unable to save his 5-year-old son.
I heard my daughter, and she was crawling out of her mom room, and I pulled her by her hands and I pulled her, and I pulled her out.
Okay.
And after that, I got up and I came out back.
Now, when you pulled and you went out, did you, at this time, did you make any account for Adonijah?
I was listening for my son's voice, or if I'm going to hear anything, and at that point there was no sound or anything from my son. I removed from the door and I began to cry and scream because all I wanted was my son.
Earlier in his testimony, Mr. Jerome said he had already retired to bed when shortly after 11 p.m. he heard loud banging coming from the female dorm. At first he said he thought the girls had another episode of being possessed, but when he looked outside he saw the dorm on fire. Armed with an extinguisher, Jerome said he rushed to the burning building, and as he got close he could hear the children screaming out for help.
When I pushed the door and the door opened, I fell to the ground, and when I fell to the ground, some of the girls trampled on me to get out of the building. I remained on the ground, and as I was on the ground, I could have only seen a few feet in front of me, and above me you could probably see like about 18 to 24 inches because it was smoke.
All right, so before you get there, the door opens, the girls run out, you fall to the ground. Once you were able to see and you were able to look into the building, could you tell us what you were able to see? What were you able to observe? What did you observe?
I saw two of my female students where I pulled both of them out. And
did you have to enter the building to pull them out of the building?
Yes, laying body flat length on the building, which half of my body was in the building and half was out.
He also said he heard some of the girls praying as the fire swept through the building, and he was doing his best to save lives.
And as I turned over on my back, there was a girl walking. I saw her feet and she was walking, probably praying to God, asking God for guidance to lead her out of the building. So I pushed her.
Did you hear her praying?
Yes. She was either saying, "Help me, God," or "Please help me," or guide me. So I pushed her out of the building.
Mr. Jerome told the Commission of Inquiry that the Guyana Fire Service arrived after he had already rescued a number of children, and within 5 minutes a fire tender left the scene. He said he would later come to the reality that his son died in the fire along with 18 other children. The 20th child died while receiving medical attention. A number of children sustained severe injuries. Well, with many teachers digging deep into their own pockets to get their classrooms in a learner-friendly state with teaching aids and other material, the Ministry of Education has started the distribution of special grants to assist the teachers. Class teachers along the coastland will be provided with $4,000 per child, while those in the hinterland region will benefit from $5,500 per child every school term to offset the expenses to prepare and maintain the classrooms. For schools with less than 56 students enrolled, the standard amount of $224,000 per term will be granted. All public schools will benefit from the grant. The education minister said the grant is for schools and the benefit of the children. Ms. Manikchan also noted that another challenge faced was the untimely distribution of resources to teachers. She said after careful examination, the best solution was to give the schools full autonomy to purchase their own resources. The education ministry is encouraging the teachers to utilize the grants in innovative ways.
Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyola's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive!
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey!
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yo, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? I just pay my bills using MMG,
Yes, Jack. And the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait. I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Well, girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall. In the region, the Caribbean nation of St. Kitts and Nevis has topped this year's CBI Index rankings for offering one of the best citizenship by investment CBI programs in the world. In the CBI Index published by the Financial Times Professional Wealth Management magazine, St. Kitts and Nevis stood out for taking immediate and decisive action based on the 6 principles framework, which was a significant factor behind achieving the top spot in this year's CBI Index with a score of 77 points. St. Kitts and Nevis was rated against 11 other countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, Austria, Cambodia, Dominica, Egypt, Grenada, Jordan, Malta, St. Lucia, Turkey, and Vanuatu. The United States Department of Justice, DOJ, has announced that the Western Union Remission Fund began distribution of about $40 million in funds forfeited to the United States from the Western Union Company to about 25,000 victims located in the Caribbean, the United States, and other places. The DOJ said on Friday that these victims stand to recover the full amount of their losses. It said this is the first distribution in the second phase of the Western Union remission distributions. The DOJ said the first phase of distributions paid more than $365 million to over 148,000 victims, all of whom received full compensation for their losses. The Justice Department anticipates authorizing more distributions for victims in the coming months. The second phase of the Western Union remission was opened in March 2022 to provide victims who had not filed petitions in the first phase of distributions an opportunity to file remission, the DOJ said. It said it continues to accept petitions for remission from those victimized by the scheme. And finally tonight, international news. 5 Americans jailed for years in Iran and widely regarded as hostages are on their way home to the United States, according to the BBC. In a report, the BBC said the last pieces in a controversial swap mediated by Qatar fell into place when $6 billion of Iranian funds held in South Korea reached the banks in Doha. It triggered the departure of the 4 American men and 1 woman in Tehran, who are also Iranian citizens, on a chartered flight to Qatar's capital. They were met by senior U.S. officials and will be flown later to Washington. The Americans include 51-year-old businessman Siamak Namazi, who has spent nearly 8 years in Tehran's notorious Evin prison, as well as businessman Imad Shargi, 59, and environmentalist Murad Tabaz, 67, who also holds British nationality. The U.S. has said its citizens were in prison on baseless charges for political leverage. In the first indication a deal was reached, they were moved in mid-August from Evin to a safe house in Tehran. 5 Iranian imprisoned in U.S. jails, mainly on charges of violating U.S. sanctions, are also being granted clemency as part of this swap. Not all of them are expected to return to Iran. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.